So now let's come to the proper thing, well, and how it is done. When you drill a well and all that. So, or groundwater or borehole. You know, So this is basically things, the activities that take place during a borehole work. You do your preliminary study, which we are going to discuss each and every one of them in detail. So let's wait for that one too. So we do our preliminary studies, we do the borehole siting, we do the drilling, we do the site, the design, and then we construct. We do the construction, we do the development, and over time we do redevelopment and rehabilitation. So one will ask, what does all this mean? Now, with the preliminary study, we do our desk studies. The preliminary investigation, we do our desk study where we study the geology of the area where we are supposed to work. We look at also the success rate, and then we study all especially with the geology. When you study the geology, you want to look at the rock types, the difficulty of the terrain, and then what kind of rock types are there, because the rock types will inform you about how difficult the terrain will be. Another thing is that we want to look at document that will suggest some success rate. That's when you drill, how much, what is the rate at which you can get water? That's the success rate. If it is less than 70%, sometimes that means that you're in for trouble. you know. But if it is about, let's say, 95, 98%, sometimes 100%, oh God, that's the joy of every hydrogeologist. you know. So after that, you go to your study area, you take the coordinates. Sometimes during the day studies, when a client call, you want to ask of the coordinates of the area. You want to look at that. But if the person doesn't have no idea about what the coordinate means, I mean, the longitude and the latitude and all that, you just wait. When you visit your site, you just pick your thing. When you go to the site visitation, to one thing, some of the things that you want to look at is where the septic tank is, because they can influence the quality of the water. And then you want to look at where cemeteries are. Is cemetery close to the area? Because definitely our people who have gone ahead, I mean, there are these things that will come from them and all that can influence the quality. You want to look at refuse dump. Where there's a refuse dump, you don't want to, because there could be leachates or um, some water, polluted water that may come from this, which we call leachate. They may come from this refuse dump and can get subsurface and influence the quality of water. And also, you want to go to neighboring homes to look at if they have hand-dug well or boreholes. You try to get a report on them. If they have one, you can study it and then look. You can even study the quality of water they have in their uh, in their house. So you study all these things and then you do your findings. And when you look at them, it may give you a preliminary information for you to work on. And sometimes may give you a clue about what to do next. So now when you are done with that, you have to investigate your site. Site your bore where you are supposed to drill your bore if you are satisfied with the preliminary investigation. Now you can use a satellite image. Sometimes some trees in a particular area would indicate that, will give you an indication whether that area is can be very difficult, or is easy, or terrain is easy or difficult. So you want to study some satellite images and then you look at some area photographs and all that. So those things will give you an indication. And then you want to do your geophysical, you want to do your sighting, proper sighting. So you use some geophysical method. You can use seismic surveys, you can use electrical resistivity, electromagnetic ones too are there. And there are so many sophisticated machines. So this is the one we can see in the picture is actually this. We've taken a traverse line, and this is electrical resistivity survey. One traverse line, then you have put in your posts and all that, and you have your equipment and everything that you use for your investigation or the sighting. So, but there are sophisticated equipment nowadays. Some are not some are not bulky, but the rate at which they may give you the information to depends on the kind of equipment that you are working with. The level of accuracy also depends on the equipment. So yeah, those things are there. Now we have some drilling methods. I mean, you can use the rotary drilling, you can use the percussion drilling, sledging and all that, jetting, and you can use the hand auger. All these things will get you water, but some goes deeper than others. So you have to put that in your mind. Some can go. I saw one particular machine. I mean, that was for sale at a particular place. I went to ask of it, and I was told that it can drill up to 250 meters. That's 2.5. Uh, yeah, 200. Let's say 250 meters. You know, so those the ones too are there. Some too can go deeper than 250. And this is an example of a drilling rig. You have a drilling rig here which can do the work. Some too are there. Some you can see them on some tractor, this thing, and some too they use their hand to do it and all that. But the depth depends on the machine that you're the rig that you are using. So we have to put that in mind. And then the hand auger drill too can be used for some of these things that we have. You can use it for preliminary study. Some you can drill a shallow hole, a shallow borehole, so that you can look at the water that can come through it, and then you study all those things to have your preliminary knowledge about the area. But you can do a drilling, or you can drill up to. Recently, I did a particular work which I drill up to about 120 meters, you know, to get water. And those things are there. The area is very, very difficult terrain, you know. So you can go very deep. Some too, you can get to 40 meters and then you get your water. So all these things, it depends on the drilling rig that you are using. So those are there. So after your drilling, and you when you are drilling, one thing that you do is that you get some of the cuttings and you lay them one after the other. Normally, what we do is that at every 1 meter, you take a sample of the cutting and then you lay them together for your design, so that when you are installing your pipes, that's your UPVC pipes, which I'll show you, I think, in the next slide. You want to do it and everything you describe, everything, the material that you have, you used to describe it, and those that will inform you about how to install your UPVC pipe. That's the blue pipes. So normally when we are drilling, it's about 11 inches diameter, and but the pipes are normally 4 or 5 inches in diameter and all that. So all these things, you look at it. So the depth at which you get to will also inform the number of pipes that you're going to use, UPVC pipes they're going to use. And then the logging, the lithological log of the borehole, as I described, you take samples at 1 meter each, and then the bore diameter and the depth at so when you get there's a moist sample from an area, means that you strike water at a particular depth. So that one to inform you about your design. So you indicate you indicate, or you in your design you take notice of where there's a water strike. Water strike means that water is coming through that area, or water is found in that level at that depth. So you also look at the penetration rate log, and all that. And then even from here, you may estimate your static water level, your water static, but sometimes it can be difficult, especially when you're working in a difficult terrain, to estimate the static water level. Sometimes it may be easier. you know so yeah, this is what I'm talking about, the blue pipes. And we have two types of them. We have the plain ones and then the screen pipes. And the pipes can be, that's what we call the casing, borehole casing. They protect the wall from breaking into the well. So as I mentioned, we have the plain one and then the screen pipes. The plain ones the difference is that the plain ones do not have holes on them, but the screen ones have holes on them. That's where the water passes through to get into the well. you know. So, and the casing, we have two types. We have the metal casing and then the plastic casing. So nowadays, the metal casing is not that popular nowadays, but the plastic ones are very, very popular, especially here in Ghana. So when you install the pipes, then you